Hello, YouTubers, Comcasters, and Vivo subscribers. This is all about my intervention and my um, biography as, I come part of Leonardo da Vinci's characteristics and his world history analysis and, be a part of, Air France and Delta and be a part of their transactions as they become more part of the airport's characteristics and part of their attributed traits and being able to turn old school into new school and turn urban into iconic at the time. So that's just being the difference between urban and iconic at the time. So it's pretty much where you gotta look at the difference of those if you want to be at a particular class level rather than being successful. And that's pretty much what you do after you graduate high school. So you got to look at those things more cleverly and be able to describe it in your personal description. So other than that, that's pretty much what we're working on. And so far we're just working on capital county law. And other than it being a transportation law or a civil law where you have to obey the traffic laws of 2016 to 2036, and it's pretty much where you just paying attention to the road, and you off the TV, you off cable websites, and so forth on that way. So that's just looking at TransUnion, Jackson Hewitt, and companies like that. So it's pretty much looking at 7:06:46 a.m. and being able to do the difference between a website search and a radio station is pretty much what we're doing to broadcast a better preview of learning and doing different statistics of the football field and putting it on the mathematic chart and being able to do it with different mathematical terms. So it's pretty much what we learned at Restaurant Depot that we could have insighted in that we still can insight on under my profile of EcoHerb 747, which is a program that instills different techniques and different patterns and different programs in it that gives you a better field of what you're looking for and what you need to do to improve your professional skills. So it's being able to have one major topic and being able to describe that major topic in major ways, and being able to describe your own get being able to describe your own factor of what your private invested factor does to it. And that's pretty much what you're doing when you learn more between U.S. history and U.S. government and U.S. economy at the time. So it's pretty much as you learning more about your healthy living balance, and being able to know more about the factual structure that comes with those living environments, as it's not just a object, or it's not just a objective, and it's not just a product. You got to learn how to take care of your product, clean your product, and keep maintenance on it. It's not just sitting. It's not just going to sit there for the next 9 months, and you think more of it being a standard form production. No, it's not that. So it's pretty much what we want to be able to increase on. That as well in catfish industries of 1839 to 4339, and so forth. We're just on Matrix so far. We're on Matrix, we're on Ratatouille, we're on Monsters Inc., and we're on Madagascar as well. So it's pretty much being able to discover more of 7 years old going to 2008 to 2024, and being able to know more experience levels of 2024 from Ohio to out of Indianapolis to Chicago, Illinois to St. Louis to Boston to Maryland to Connecticut to New Hampshire to Nebraska to Colorado to Nevada to Arizona So it's not like you don't have a world full of places to go when you feel like you're down or you need to move or, you need to be somewhere after 1839 of 2022. And, it's pretty much as you starting a newer life for yourself, for your own um, tax revenue. So, that's at least making up to at least 22,000 in tax revenue, depending on your evaluation with your car production as far as it, not being a car maker, but being a car dealership type retail price. So, it's pretty much just working on, the car being registered in your name and you having, your insurance on it and, being able to classify your driver's license. So, it's pretty much where you're using 1928 with 2089 and you're being able to study more past that and it's pretty much where you're being able to study a certain character of jurisdiction towards your state and that's pretty much where you learn more of federalism and learning more biology and economy and world history and back to US government. So it's pretty much where we're going to. And the thing about it is about the main points of life. So that's pretty much working on WellMed, AIG, Jackson Hewitt, MoneyGram, TransUnion. You working with things like that in real life. So that's pretty much part of Texas Longhorns in the national championship event that they had 2006 of where they was at in Pasadena, California, and that's pretty much where they had to keep hydrated and stuff like that. So that's pretty much living the biological life out there. So it's pretty much as you live in Elgin or Odessa or Bryan or even somewhere in the Lone Star State, and it's always difficult finding out how much the Lone Star State is worth when you got so many other counties that are different from each other, and the houses are celebrated in national content, and that's pretty much what think people didn't like about Juneteenth is it didn't celebrate enough casualties that made a great difference within the cultural effects that happened in the future. Whether it was Easter or Christmas, you wasn't gonna have a big variety of what you wanted to eat if you wanted to have a big family party. So that's pretty much where that came in at. So it's pretty much where we just like 4th of July, Memorial Day, or in those link of senses, being able to connect that with Twitter, Instagram, and being able to check out different levels of lifestyle in the day is pretty much what we wanted to do to promote more for the beneficial day of how to promote more for the county laws that we have in the state after 530 of 2008 of 2038. So that's just working with District 10 and District 35 and being able to add District 4 to that as well. So it's pretty much District 4 and District 1 as well as we increase the data knowledge of 10th grade to sophomore year in college after 2008. And it's just pretty much where you're just looking at the promotions of being able to be a accommodated student of your common privilege that gets sponsored every month, and it's pretty much a more rapid field of what you want to see in the future. So it's pretty much what you want to see coming from DeAndre Lott at the time. After you seeing tough times of 77 to 39. And we having tough time getting our vehicles and being able to purchase the full amount on the vehicle at the time, and still being able to eat, use the restroom, and shower, and being able to live on our own without being sick so much. So, it's being able to clean up, being able to wash the dishes, being able to put the dishes in the cabinets, being able to wash the clothes, wash the vehicle, being able to do a lot of proper detail. So, it's not like life gets old, that's pretty much what you're doing as you figuring out at least 40 years, 80 years, and 39 years of your interest tax. So, it's working on at least $90, $30 of interest tax as you have something interesting for every little unit of that topic that you wanted to talk about. So, I was being able to put at least 394 of those paragraphs together, and figuring out in your own words what that deal is. So that's being able to put it into a rough draft, and turning that rough draft into a final draft is pretty much putting it into your own words and vocabulary. So, you know, up now like modern days, that's pretty much what the instructors want from you. They want a modern day statistic. They want a modern day statistic. So, it's pretty much as you writing a modern day statistic for English. You're being able to write different dictionaries of vocabularies of that type of detail. So, it's pretty much what we want to do to entertain the audience of TikTok, Vine, and so forth. So, other than that, we are talking about voting laws. So, it's pretty much putting Articles of Confederation on the look of Roe versus Wade or Board versus Education. So that's using Articles of Confederation, which has a lot to do with the human jurisdiction of self-preservation. So, it's being able to put religion and time and, balance into, Arizona to Oklahoma to Kansas. And, it's pretty much just thinking about just 431 acres that you can put that entertainment into at the time. So, it's being able to know more about the productions of that label as you build more for Comcast, CNN, and being able to build jurisdiction of notifications as you progress in those things. And that's pretty much what EcoHerb 747 is here to produce at the hour, as it has its own vision of its own production. So, it's being able to have people on your team, US team at the time. So, it's pretty much where you're not just using one symbol of unity, you're using a company of unity, whether it's the Capitol or the Burger Center or, Bob Buick Museum or um, even the Frank Irwin Center. So, it's pretty much as you using, at least 739 Articles of Confederation for them total. That's pretty much where you're going with that whole detail as you get more oriented with that subscription and it's acknowledgments. So with that, you're looking at Bill of Rights, which is a constitutional law. And, this is for 4th and 10th graders. So, it's pretty much where you're looking at the difference of, how to circumference more for your stay, whether it's, whether you're just, you're judging your, your capabilities as to what you need to assign before the truck leaves the station. So, it's looking at Google Fi and determining more on Google Fi roads. So, it's using Bill of Rights as well. So it's Bill of Rights and, what else do we have? Artists Federation, Bill of Rights. Process of elimination. And this is all just coming from the voting process. And, this goes for 431 votes, 931 votes, and 508 votes. So, it's being able to know at least about 30 different orders that you can have at one local restaurant that increases the likability and, being able to increase the way that the performance is produced and, using different categories of diversity is pretty much what you want to do as we make different sorts of landscapes and different sorts of Arizona and its template plates, being able to know different sources, different locations, and different coordinates, and it's pretty much what you want to do as you learn more about your county law and your voting rights. And this is what this multimedia video is all about as you learn more about your voting rights and your and your so on, that as well, knowing the other objective as well. So, that's using process of elimination and, whether it's, 300 or, 3,000 and it's take away 3 or take away 300. That's when you're using process of elimination right there. You gain at least $300, then you gain $3,000, and then you lose $300, then you lose $3,000. And that's pretty much where you're using that whole detail. So it's using process of elimination of Bill of Rights and Articles of Confederation. So you got one more on there that you put on there, and that's part of okay. So it's Articles of Confederation, Bill of Rights, and process of elimination. This all started in 2005, and it's going to 2032. So it's pretty much where you use a more urban right of 20 yards, 50 yards, and 30 yards, whether it's on the forward side or it's on the positive side. So it's pretty much where you're using the 20 to 20 difference on max preps Comcast at the time, and you talking about the main previews of the sub midpoints, which is pretty much when the game was determined, either you're gonna win or you're not gonna win, and judging the whole fact uh on the particular judgment of character at the time, whether it's a situation or a statistic at the time. We want to be able to, use the difference between pro agility and combine. So, it's pretty much using, 7:30 p.m. at the spring game of 7:30 p.m. of 7:07 and showing up at a actual real live varsity game with Georgetown Eastview as well. So, whether you know it or not, we're still doing things for Reagan and, still making an imprint on different national spokesman shows, whether it for DWL's Industries or more for or Eco Leaf mega platforms. So it's pretty much where you're using those details to promote more for that on iTunes, Interlink, All Point, so forth with those details. So I was using that whole monogram and using more for that reference. So it's pretty much as using that detail. Other than that, you working on different transactions and travel plans from Arizona to Oklahoma to Kansas to Tennessee, and you can go the difference between Nashville and Knoxville, and those two are the two most voted for, as you find more votes for those as well, and those are the most common votes that come from Idaho or Montana or Michigan, Detroit, and it's pretty much where you're using more common rates of the urbanized Anglo Americans that you knew in 1969 to 2003. So that's just being able to put you in program with your with your with your with your culture and traditions. So it's pretty much as you start more towards 10th grade of 4th grade, you being able to use more for the production of your your production stability. So other than that, you working on one more other situation. So at the end of the day, you are working with the laws of science, whether it's Isaac Newton's law or it's just the actual law of the road in 2339. And it's pretty much where you're looking at Harry Potter, or you're looking at Chronicles of Narnia, or you're looking at the Polar Express. So it's pretty much where you're just being able to stay more constant to the law, as you don't want to be in trouble so often, just because it is a law that could break your arm, your leg. So just thinking of that stuff, he's just thinking about Germany at the time. So it's pretty much as you gotta stay more faithful to the urban common law that you have here in Rush Hour, or in what either one of your movies that you've seen 2008 to 2014. And it's pretty much where you want to stay more common with the benefactor of your organization. So, it's being able to know more about 1923 to 2039 and using your resources for that, and understanding more about the economy at the time as you make more imprints at the beginning of that. So, that's pretty much working with the inference of 23,000 versus 2,300, and using more towards 3.1 of 390 at the time for Bill of Rights forms and profiles at the time. So, that's just looking at more of 1879 to 1936 of 2036. And, it's pretty much using, more of using more of a concentrated form to represent those types of forms, whether it's in a shorter field, or it's in a wider space. So, it's pretty much using those details. So the rest of it is just world cultures, and it's pretty much where we're using more of our own clothes of fashion. Whether it's J. Crew or Gucci or Versace, or Izod, or um, or P. Miller, or either Rockaware or Sean John. So, we just being able to remain back to our Nelma classic throwback since we were populated. We have a lot of population, growing in the southwestern belt of Arizona to Nashville, Tennessee. So, it's pretty much as we're growing in a certain sub-Saharan, we want to be able to be productive in our, in our wish list of keeping more contained subscriptions for ourselves. Other than that, we are working with PMC2 squared, and it has its different patterns how to associate with the infrastructure of the profiling. So, it's being able to know more about AOL to Google Docs um, to Outlook, and being able to know the income and outcome of those, and being able to transition newer descriptions in between the two is pretty much where we're using our $48,808 transversal on our $63 million investment. So, it's pretty much as we're using our bigger bank accounts for, what we want to do for PMC Plus or PMC2 squared or MoneyGram Plus, and, being able to use that whole in terminology for those investments is how you increase the invoice or the inventory or the stock revenue of those type of details as you become more common with your codes of precision or performance and of accuracy at the time. So, it's pretty much using different codes of those standard objectives and making more prominent dominance within those as you make more codes and patterns of sentences, vocabulary, and, nouns that you see, whether it's country span or um, coordinates, country span, or coordinates. And, that's pretty much what you're using, as well as you using, more of that whole detail of coordinates at the time. So, I was using 372 different coordinates for one subscription of one main title that it goes to, that they all could be connected to. So, that's pretty much using Chronicles of Narnia, Polar Express, and Harry Potter books, and it's pretty much where you're using that. And on the list of that, every 39 words to 40 chapters, you're looking at where you're taking the money away and spending it on Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Wendy's, and using that $944 against that stuff. So, it's pretty much where you're using 900 plus for a good time, and, being able to exhilarate that time, and, being able to increase the moment for that good stuff. So, it's pretty much we're using different codes and patterns of EcoHerb 747, and, being able to use more of its excelled excellence is pretty much we're using the difference of that good stuff. So, it's pretty much using all types of portions, patterns, methods, and equations to promote more for that detail. So, I was using 47,774 different subscriptions that promote that good stuff. So, it's pretty much what you've heard of since 2008 of 2023. And, it's pretty much what we've been working on at Prospect, Enterprise, Amazon, and Restaurant Depot. So, it's pretty much what we're learning more about as we figure out more for our personal representation, being able to boost up the update on it, and, be able to get a good fashion update on, occupational prescription, being able to know more about, this objective that gets you more entertained and, more optical of your natural resources of your environment, being able to get back in control of it is pretty much what, the generation wants to do after we leave 29 to 40. And, it's pretty much as we leave a good representation for 1923 to 2048, and, being able to know more about, the Langston Hughes of the Lawrence Fishburne, or Morris Chestnut, or Martin Lewis at the time, as you focus more on brown sugar of, even, working on sports at the time. So, it's pretty much, we're looking at a whole look of ESPN versus Max Preps versus Dave Campbell's at the time. So, it's pretty much where we're looking at that, and, getting a whole look of those types of details other than, looking at cars, insurance, and property protection. So, it's pretty much what we're looking at that time.